and welcome to the Venue Success Podcast. I'm your host, Tirzah Caffee, and our theme in season 2 is Tools of the Trade, the pros behind the process. Today, I have my dear friend, Elizabeth Nelson of Snowmad Digital with us, and we are going to be talking all things digital marketing. It's so great to have you here, Elizabeth.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
We have been anticipating this for quite a while. I think months we've been talking about doing this. So we're really, really excited for all of the great content that we have for you today. But you know what time it is. Before we get to the interview, it is time for Crazy Stories with Tirzah because people have lost their minds. All right, so today is another story about a mom. So I feel like, honestly, every week we could just pull out another story about one of these crazy helicopter moms that are just all over the place in the wedding industry now. And honestly, we talk about this all the time in my staff, that the moms have become so much worse than the brides. Like, it's momzilla through the roof all of the time. So I have in the last few years, significantly stepped back from having to produce weddings, and I have hired people to kind of do that for me. I figure after 31 years of doing this, I deserve that, right? But it was one of these random weddings that I needed to step in and do. We had a 5-wedding weekend. So Tirzah comes in to kind of give relief to my wedding planners. And I had an exceptionally annoying mom. And one of the things that we do is we always have our bridesmaids and all the people that are in the changing room remove all of their stuff before the ceremony. And there's a reason why we do that. And it's because, well, two things. One, it's a liability. They've got all of their personal belongings up there, and we don't want that just accessible to people. We try to always lock the door, but we're those are their personal items. We want them to get that cleaned up before the ceremony, because after the ceremony, there's really no time, right? It's photos and grand entrance, and then all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock at night and they're drunk and they don't want to clean up, right? So we always have them clean up their stuff before the ceremony, and because there's always that dead time, 30 minutes anyway. So we had them do that. Everything was fine. And the day after the wedding, the mom calls me up and she says, Tirzah, I'm missing my diamond necklace, and I know it was in my purse, and I saw you go up in the carriage house, and I believe that you took it. And I was thinking, what? All the curse words. I'm I cannot even believe that you're saying this to me right now. But I was like, ma'am, I surely did not take your gold necklace. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Go look through all of your stuff again. I'm sure you're going to find it, and there's no way. And she goes, well, if you didn't take it, I'm sure one of your staff took it. It's a very valuable necklace. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so after a lot of snarky emails back and forth, it was a week later. Well, I wasn't snarky to her. She was so rude. About a week later, I get a message from her, and she's like, I'm so sorry, Tirzah. I found the necklace. It was just dropped in one of the bags, and someone was helping clean up, and it was dropped in one of the bags. And it just, I was so frustrated. I don't know what it was, but there was something inside of me, being falsely accused makes my heart race. There's not a lot that gets me very upset, but we are around so much valuable stuff. At weddings, the things that people leave around, I mean, purses and wallets and phones and diamond necklaces and earrings and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, girl, I don't want your stupid diamond necklace. Anyway, there's not a lot that gets me, but being accused of stealing. The only stolen in my life was this really shiny rock out of my neighbor's driveway, because they had this really cool gravel parking lot. I thought they were diamond rocks. I was 5. Anyway, that's my stupid story. Crazy moms. Anyway, let's get on to the good stuff. Your host, Tirzah Caffee, thief, necklace thief. Okay, so Elizabeth is here. We met back in crazy COVID year, and we were all so freaking traumatized, of course. Will we ever stop talking about 2020? I don't know. A lot changed. And, one of the things in hindsight, and I say this a lot about 2020, there are parts of it I'm super grateful for, because it caused me to reevaluate so much in my business. And a lot of the stuff that I reevaluated has impacted me in a really positive way, that I pivoted in such a way that, our business is doing better. Crazy enough. So one of the big things that I did, and you guys know I talk about this a lot, I was just totally over dealing with the non-wedding wire. I had it and I was spending so much money. I think venues spend the most on those marketing websites. They definitely charge more for us. And so I was reevaluating things, and I was talking to another friend of mine who owns a venue out in California. And we were having a frustrating talk one day about just the state of the wedding industry. And he was also telling me how stupid I am to still be marketing non-wedding wire. And he's like, Tirzah, please, like, it's going to be fine. Anyway, so he told me about Elizabeth, and I'd been looking at a couple of different things, and we met shortly after that. And I will never forget ever. I was at my son's football game, right, Elizabeth? And you were
Yes.
looking at my website for the first time. Tell listeners what you found.
Well, the person who built your website used a Avada, or not Avada, sorry, I use Avada, used a WordPress theme. WordPress has all these different themes. They might have like a photography theme. They might have like, a catering theme. Well, the person who built your website used a bakery theme, and they left all the pages on your website about cookies and muffins and all kinds of bakery stuff. And I was like, hey, homegirl, like, love you. No, we're new, but I got to tell you straight, like, whoever built your website, like, hates you.
She called me and she goes, Tirzah, is your husband a cake baker? And I was like, what the freak are you talking about? Of course, Elizabeth and I didn't know each other very well. And I had just spent, listen to me, $5,000 having that website built. And when that's not your world, you trust the people, right? And so Elizabeth was talking to me about making sure that my website is indexed correctly. And I feel like I'm a pretty smart girl. I don't know this stuff. And I think that's why I'm really excited about today's show, is because there's so much. Don't feel bad if, like, I've had people in coaching actually ask me, what does SEO stand for? That's how sometimes, I don't want to say dumb we are, but it's just how uneducated we are about that kind of element of building our businesses. So anyway, we could talk a lot more about that story, but thank God Elizabeth fixed my website, and it's actually quite beautiful. So anyway, Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about you. I always love it when you share about kind of what you do, where you live, the things that you do, your hobbies, which are quite unique. And then what is your area of expertise in the wedding industry? Let's, jump right in.
Okay. So I'm Elizabeth. I'm the owner of Snowmad Digital. If you can't tell from the name, I'm kind of obsessed with snow. So I'm originally from Texas, and one day I decided to move into my car and move to Colorado, and I just fell in love with the snow. So I decided to name my business Snowmad Digital. I've been a wildland firefighter. I've been a volunteer structure firefighter. As one of my careers, I'm an A-licensed skydiver, an avid snowboarder. So that's what I like to do in my free time. But to be perfectly honest with you, most of my time is spent studying SEO, studying the wedding industry. We are really known for SEO, but we're kind of an all-around, digital marketing agency. I build the websites, I host the websites, I take care of all the DNS records. I can write email and text copy and build your brochures and do graphic design. And when I say by the way, Snowmad is no longer like just Elizabeth. I have an amazing team. Gabby, who lives in Pennsylvania, and Madison, who lives in Florida. They are an amazing addition to the Snowmad team. And of course, Julia, who currently lives in the Ukraine, and I'm looking to sponsor her to come move over to the United States and work over here, takes care of all the off-page SEO and like backlinks. So we are really like an all-in-one digital marketing agency, and we kind of aim to be able to take care of our venues in a way where they don't have to reach out to this person for their Google ads or this person for Meta or TikTok or social media. Like, if you want us to take care of it all for you, we will absolutely do that. And we only work with wedding venues, and I'm obsessed with the wedding venue industry. So John was actually one of my very first clients. So, him talking to you, I've actually never marketed my business. My business is completely like word of mouth. So we've never spent a penny marketing Snowmad.
Which is absolutely incredible. And it just shows the power of doing a great job for your clients and then them wanting to refer you. I know as a venue coach, I have recommended many of my clients to you that have had a great experience using your services, and their venues are doing really, really great. So let me just ask you one of my first questions here. So since 2020, since we've been working together, what have been the biggest challenges or the changes that you've seen and how couples are searching for wedding venues online and digital marketing? Like, how have you adapted my strategy for our venue to kind of meet those changes?
Oh my gosh. So, so much has changed since 2020. So I have definitely a lot to share. So, how people search has changed. So a lot of people are using a lot of different ways to search, they're vetting on all these different platforms. They're looking at your Google reviews, your Wedding Wire reviews. You're looking at, they're looking at things you posted on social media 4 years ago, seeing how you handled those, reviews that are not 5 stars. If someone left you a 1-star review, how'd you reply to that? People are not sitting down and focused when they start their venue search, especially Gen Z. They're sending requests for your pricing brochure, at 11 p.m. in bed, or they're looking on their lunch break, or they're looking while they're standing in line for coffee. So often when they start looking and they're getting really excited, they're really overwhelmed and disorganized. I think a lot of that has to do with just kind of the advent of like short form content from a social media standpoint. People are just used to like having things instantly. So, kind of to kind of build on that, from a generational standpoint, from a multi-generational standpoint, millennials, they start their search, like I mentioned, like on their phone, and then they do what I call their big girl searches, where they kind of move and, every generation above, they move to the computer, while Gen Z is completely, mobile first. So why does that matter? Your brands, Alexander Homestead, everything has to speak to everyone, to that momzilla that you were talking about, to the Gen Z couples on their phone and desktops, and then we don't really see people using a tablet anymore, except for venue owners. So I think that's interesting too. So I know it's not really, groundbreaking to say like, oh, people are using their phones, right? That's kind of old news. But really, search behavior has, evolved just beyond the devices I'm talking about. People are taking longer to schedule a tour. They're taking longer to sign the contracts, and yet they're booking their weddings closer out instead of the usual like 1 to 2 years. So, when I used to focus on like the web design and, kind of everything that I was doing, I was trying to qualify people through the website, look at our pricing, look at our available dates, schedule the tour. I still have some clients that like successfully follow that model, but we've really shifted our focus from qualifying, through the website. And then, for your venue, Hitch then takes the torch and passes it on with the emailing and the texting and the tour scheduling, that lead campaign. So we really, at least in my business, oftentimes I find myself in the position where I am, writing the emails and writing the texts, and I'm creating all these different content pieces, in addition to just the website. Because, we really need to speak to all these different couples. You've got the rational researchers, and you have, the emotional couple, the validation seeker, the compromise balancers, So we've really moved away from just focusing on like the website and doing like, the pricing front and center. Another reason, and how this impacts SEO is, costs have increased since 2019. So couples and parents that are looking at a wedding, they don't really know what they're looking for. And so I do feel that having the price on your website can be a hindrance, because they're excited and and then they find the website through SEO, but then they see the pricing and you know, they might see the pricing even like in the email and text nurture, and they might still get that sticker shock. So, instead of just focusing on like an all SEO approach and qualifying them through the website, I really focus on um, talking about the value of the venue. For you, that's really emphasizing the team. You have an amazing team, the full service experience, the fact that they can just show up and get ready, and like they don't have to lift a finger if they don't want to. And a lot of people really do want to have a wedding like that. There are going to be couples that really want to have their hand like in every single thing, but like your venue really revolutionized, in my opinion, like the all-inclusive package. Like it's beyond all-inclusive. And so, that might be a little TMI as far as like how the search has changed and how we've adapted to that. Now, from an SEO landscape, kind of shifting gears here, it's completely transformed. I mean, AI has changed everything. I used to spend so much time obsessing over the core web vitals and Google page speed insights. I used to be doing all these little things and tweaking the JavaScript on the website. But Google's API leaked this past May, and it gave me some really fascinating insights. So I don't know if you heard about that, but basically the whole API for how their search works, like got leaked from someone in Google. So it was this really long like manifesto, and I read the whole thing. And so, they lied to us. They said things didn't matter like domain authority, but their documents showed that they actually are using a metric called site authority. And they only measure insights through Chrome. They don't measure through Safari or anything else, which that's not like a huge shocker, right? But something else just to kind of build on that makes it even more interesting of how, Snowmad and myself need to figure out like how to keep shifting forward and staying ahead of the curve is that the US Justice Department wants to force Google to sell Chrome because they say it has a monopoly. And, it hasn't happened yet, but I'm interested to see like how's that going to change SEO on Google? How's that going to change Google Ads? SEO doesn't just take place on Google. There's all kinds of other different search engines that people are using. So we're kind of gearing ourselves for that and seeing how that's going to kind of change things too. And then kind of building upon the AI that I talked about earlier. Anyone that's a little tech savvy can do, I call it basic B SEO. Don't be mad at me for saying that, but it's like, anyone can do like a little title or a meta or a little keyword or, sometimes I have a client email me and they're like, oh, I want to change this word on my website. Is it going to destroy everything you're doing? And I'm like, I hope not. Like if it was just one word on the website, I'd be out of a job, right? But there's all these AI tools out there like Jasper and, all these writing tools. And anyone can go in and plug in a keyword and have it write the article and just slap it up on the website. So it's become really saturated. And because of that, Google has really changed, what they qualify. They used to qualify based on all the basic SEO, right? Like the title and the meta and the H1 and the H2 and how many times you use the keyword, yada, yada, yada. Now they're really driven by user intent and behavior, which again, they only measure through Chrome. So they're not measuring it through Safari, which is interesting because most of my venue couples clients, they're using an iPhone, and so therefore most of them are using Safari. And so that it really gives us insights into how couples, are interacting, with the venue website. So because of that, we have started doing heat maps on a website. We added a heat map to your website last month. And what we're seeing is a lot of people are doing what we call doom scrolling, where they just like scroll, 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 kind of like they do on their phone. They're just like doing this through the videos, trying to get to what they want because they're trying to figure out like how to get the information that they want to get on your website. And so we're taking that data and making sure that, we're trying to remove how much they're doom scrolling and get them what they're looking for. If they are clicking to the pricing page, but then they're doing like a click back, we know that they didn't find what they were looking for before they were comfortable enough to fill out that form, right? So we're really evolving beyond you really, to answer this is a really long answer, sorry, but to answer the question more fully, there's so much more to SEO than just technical SEO. It's really anybody can do technical SEO. You can hire anyone on Fiverr to do a little bitty keyword here and there or do like a little easy thing, but we're really, focusing beyond technical SEO to like the user search intent and how to give them what they're looking for on the website so we can make sure that we are matching that user intent and they are spending that time. And then, of course, nurturing the relationship past the website. And just one more thing. So like how SEO is also changing. So, Reddit is huge. A lot of people didn't really know in the wedding industry what Reddit was 2 years ago. I've been, I don't want to call myself a nerd, but I've been using Reddit since I was in college. I love it. I trust it as like a resource where people go and talk about real things, and there's not really a whole lot of companies on there. So Reddit actually went public this year, and then they signed a deal with Google. So now you're starting to see Reddit pop up a lot in the search forums, and couples are, using Reddit to vet and be part of their wedding planning journey. And so I wrote a whole Reddit blueprint this year that we're going to start really, really rolling out in 2025 for all my clients, because we see that as like a huge game changer of how we can kind of control the message there on Reddit too. So that was a really long answer, but
No, it's so good. And I hope that I could just already imagine listeners are like soaking all of this up. So I think this is going to be an episode that people go back and they listen to, and then they have to re-listen to it for sure. But as you were talking, I was thinking a little bit about one of the things that you and I have talked about a lot at our venue is that we live in a very saturated market, very, very saturated space in terms of venues. And I feel like they're just still continuing to pop up all over the place. So talk a little bit about like some of the things that you guys have done with your SEO and digital marketing to connect us with the right couples, and how are you making sure that we are showing up for people? Because I know you are doing it, especially, and I don't know that it's necessarily connected to this saturation thing, but that's what kind of comes into my mind because it's like, there's only so many couples, right? And they're being kind of inundated. So I feel really proud of the fact that we have a lot of our ideal clients coming to us. Like they really are kind of vetted throughout multiple areas, but I think our website does a really great job vetting people. So how have you kind of how have you made that happen?
Oh gosh, and I can't really take the full credit for that too, because like you've done also such an amazing job with, helping me understand. And I got to visit your venue, when I was in Asheville this summer, which was just so great. And it really helped me put everything together. But you've done such an amazing job of helping me understand like what kind of a couple you're looking for and also like what kind of a message we're trying to give them. So I just want to start by saying not everything has to do with SEO. Not everything has to do with marketing. Like you can have all the great SEO in the world, but if your website doesn't really make sense or you're like targeting for the wrong keyword, and you have a bad reputation or you're just like a, dusty or cranky. Okay. So, um, okay.
Dusty and cranky, yes.
Hey, we all can be being in this industry. I'm just
We
going to
do
say it.
have, but you talked a little bit about this, like reviews, and I think our longevity in the space and our reviews, like we have some of the top reviews in the whole entire state of North Carolina. So of course, yes, I'll pat myself on the back a little bit, but aside from that, what have you done?
Okay. So, when we're talking about like digital marketing as a whole, but let's just talk about SEO and like ads and kind of digital marketing in that aspect, because that's really where I work with you. So think of it as like building, the perfect roadmap to your venue, right? So couples are typing things into Google or DuckDuckGo or heck, even Bing, they're searching for barn wedding venue in Asheville or, outdoor wedding venue with mountain views. Or, sometimes they're just looking for, wedding venue near, Charlotte or Mint Hill. So my job, I feel, is to make sure that your venue and the venues that I work with, they're showing up for those keywords that I want them to show up for. We're not doing budget, we're not doing affordable. Okay, none of that. Maybe we are considered affordable, but that is a word that I can't stand because it means different things to different people and it attracts price shoppers. And I don't want price shoppers for my clients. I want people that are seeking value. Just as a side note, that has less to do with SEO and more to do with strategy. So, my job is to make sure that your venue shows up everywhere. So I want you on the thumbnails, under the videos. I want you on the local tag, people always ask section, maybe Reddit even. And of course, the regular SERPs. My job is to make sure that you're showing up in multiple places, because if you're showing up in multiple places, it gives more trust and authority to your brand and your website as a whole. Like if I'm searching for different things that are like the type of venue I'm looking for and you're showing up multiple times and I keep seeing you over and over, and your social media is great because Danielle does, just a bang up job, they're going to trust you more and they're going to want to fill out that form. And you've already established that trust from the get go. Something else I want to touch on too is like you also do a really good job of qualifying them before they come to the tour. Okay. Anyway, but back to SEO. So, we work really, really, really hard for our clients. Like I love my job. The passion I have for all the stuff I do in the outdoors, I bring it right back to work. Because I work so hard and my team works so hard on SEO and ads. Most of our clients do see about 80 to 90% of those website leads come just through that. So, for most of my venues, if you're going to be definitely my only client that's in that city, I'm not going to work with any of your competitors. I'm not working with anyone else in Charlotte, right? I need to dominate those, local searches. I need to dominate those state searches. And so, talking about like connecting and going back to like the Knot and Wedding Wire, which I hate to talk about. I hope they don't watch this and get me, but we don't. Yeah, I wrote the article and it's all over, but we don't. When it comes to SEO, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't outrank the Knot and Wedding Wire, and I can't outrank them. They've spent so much on ads and SEO, and it's not even worth doing it." Okay, think of it like this. So couples are really getting savvier. They know that these are paid directories. And some people, they might even, they don't even like the fact that there's paid directories or even paid Google ads, which is why we're never letting go of SEO. I know a lot of people are just like throwing it out the window right now because it's really freaking hard and it's getting harder every day. That just pushes us to like try even harder. But, couples really are getting savvier. A lot of people will just skip right past the non-wedding wire. They'll go right to the local results. That's why we believe there is like, such a beautiful balance between SEO and paid placement. So, you know, um, and then to kind of touch as far as like, how we connect with couples like past the SEO, let's talk a little bit about website content. And if anyone is listening to this and feels like called out, I'm so sorry because I'm a very blunt person. But if you're calling yourself, this hidden gem or affordable luxury or luxury inclusions, I have some news for you. If you have a website, you're not a hidden gem. Okay. If you're not a DIY backyard venue, you're probably not like considered affordable or what people would consider affordable. And if you're saying you have luxury inclusions and, you've gotten your bridal suite furniture from Walmart or Ashley or something, that's not luxury. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But luxury is like 100K plus weddings, and you need to stop sending the wrong message to couples because you're confusing them. You can't say things like affordable luxury. That's an oxymoron.
And that's why we started saying full service, because we were like, we say all inclusive still, but like that means almost nothing anymore because people misuse the term.
They're really confused. And I do feel like because, it's kind of a double-edged sword. My venues that I work with, a lot of times they're the first touch point that people find because we're doing good at our jobs, right? Like we're doing good at SEO and ads. And so because of that, they look at our venue, they're going to go look at 4 or 5 other venues. And, that's why now, like, I really look at SEO, we're not just an SEO company. I look at it as like the whole picture of like how we're presenting ourselves. And you're so amazing at that too, so we really try to make sure that we're careful with the messaging on the website. We try to make sure that, after we have that initial touch point through the website, that we're the venue that they're, really thinking about. Because, the secret, it's not just about getting them to find you. That's the SEO. I get them to the website, right? But you have to connect with those couples. So I am a firm believer that like if I'm working with that venue in that area, like that is the best, venue for, XYZ. Like Tirzah is the best, full service wedding venue in Charlotte. Like no cap, no one can touch Alexander Homestead. And so that has to be told through like genuine copywriting, the brochure, the website, the whole experience. We can't just like talk at couples and and tell them all this stuff. We need to listen to them. We also need to guide them, teach them what questions to ask. A lot of that does come through automations like you have set up with Hitched in your emails and texts, but it doesn't have to feel fake. It's all about connecting with their dreams, maybe their fears, and their vision, for their wedding day. So
I think it kind of goes into my next question for you, and you kind of touched on that a little bit. So how is the integration of different services like SEO, web design, Google Ads, like you mentioned about email and texting and all that kind of stuff? It's really this comprehensive approach, right? And so again, like talk a little bit more about why that is so important specifically for a wedding venue.
my gosh. Okay. So, having all those services, working together, it's like having an orchestra, right? Instead of just a single instrument, the SEO brings that organic traffic, but Google Ads can immediately put you in front of couples actively planning. And by the way, when I say immediately, I just want to be realistic here. Like we're talking like 3 days to a week, right? But it's pretty immediate. And then the website design ensures that once they find you, they have a great experience learning about your venue. And this is crucial. That's where we capture their information. But where it really gets interesting after that, because again, we don't really work again in the whole model of qualifying them through the website anymore. Not saying it doesn't work. Just saying, certain markets are different, right? And we've seen with most of our clients that just doesn't work anymore. So, the copywriting and the lead nurturing needs to keep them engaged through that whole decision process. They're going to be having tons of ups and downs as they're trying to piece things together. Tirzah, they might be looking at Alexander Homestead and they might be going and trying to search and see how much does the DJ cost? How much is the floor? And they're trying to do all this and they're trying to make, they're trying to do all this on the back end. And we need to like reshift their focus and guide them and like make them trust us. So that can come through, using AI to reply to leads. I know what you might be thinking. A lot of people, especially people that are 30 and up, like us, they might think like, oh my gosh, AI, like that's cringe, right? Some companies use like overseas support to do like lead nurturing in the email and text campaigns, but I really like to use AI. And the reason that is because, and I know you know this, like you and your team, like you're answering and doing all this stuff all the time. But, if you're having AI answer for you, and this is more actually geared towards my other venues actually, and not Alexander Homestead, but like some of my venues are like manually answering every single question that comes in. What date's available? What's included in this? What's included in that? Let me tell you something. AI doesn't ever get annoyed at questions. Okay. Doesn't ever get sassy, never has a hard day and answers someone a little bluntly and rudely, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
And AI is really not like cringy, like we might think. What we love about it is, when that 30th person of the day says, "Hey, is May 25th, 2025 available?" And you're like, "No, it's not." You can have AI, you know, automate all of that for you. People don't care that it's AI answering them. They just want their immediate answers. This is the generation of Instacart, you know.
I had my first experience with this week. And I just want to say, as my children call me a boomer, although I am not, I'm 46 years old.
You're
I'm not a boomer,
Gen X.
but I was, they're just teasing me, but I was trying to find an apartment for my daughter, and I looked at two places. One was a sweet little Southern woman, and it was fine, and one was a computer. And it was literally the whole entire process was so seamless. I knew it was AI, and I actually really liked it. I knew, and it was so fascinating. And then I had to cancel the appointment. AI was super nice to me about it, and then has actually been following up with me, asking if I'm still interested. And I've never once been turned off by the fact that it was a computer, because at that point in the process, I just had facts. I needed answers to things, and I didn't really care if it was a person or not. So I just want to affirm what you're saying, being that a lot of venue owners are older people. That's just what I have found. There is a new generation coming in of younger people, but to have a venue usually means you have a little bit more resources. It's a more expensive venture for sure. So a lot of us are a bit older and are afraid of this technology. And I know we're not going to hit on that too much today, but I do think talking about AI with older generation is like, they freak out just a little bit and they're like, oh, but it's not that personal touch. There's a time and a place for that, right? And I'm just affirming what you're saying, because in the beginning, when they're on a fact-finding mission, they're not necessarily worried about the warm and fuzzies at that point. They just need the answers. So anyway, carry on.
Yeah, you're 100%, you're 110%, and I love that story, because the thing is people don't dislike AI, they dislike bad answers, right? Like you're on a chat bot with a website and it's like giving you not the answer you're looking for, and you're like, this sucks, and you want to chunk your computer. That's bad. But if you have something, like an AI in place that's just like answering the questions for you, whether that's taking place on your website or on your email and text journey with them, I mean, it's giving them the answers that they're looking for, and they're also getting that immediacy. Look, couples know that you're not sending them that, welcome email at 3 a.m. in the morning, when they're on like doing their search. Cause like I look on the back end, and they're sending emails at all kinds of crazy hours. Like they know that's not you, they, unless they're dumb. Most people know that, but just to kind of jump back to like, how all these pieces like support each other. So, I mentioned earlier that like Google ads are kind of more immediate, right? You get more immediate results than SEO. We've really streamlined our SEO so we can actually start seeing results in like 3 months, which is crazy. Most companies say like a year or 2 years, which is like, I'm a little too impatient for that. Um, but what we learn from that Google ads data, that lets us know like what messages resonate best, what images perform the best, what are our key messages that we're sending that people are clicking on. And then I take that data and I use it, in our website, in our SEO, and in our, everywhere. So Google ads is almost kind of like this testing ground where we can see in real time, what, couples are responding to. And, doing the comprehensive approach with my clients where we're taking care of all these different parts of their marketing journey means, we're not just getting more website traffic, because I don't care about clicks. Don't care about them. Don't care. Okay. I care about qualified leads coming through and higher booking rates. So, you know, by creating this kind of seamless journey and being a part of all these different touch points from the moment they find you and then go through all their little different journeys and their experience all the way to that, automated but, personal follow-up. Um, Everything works together so well to just tell your venue's unique story and listen to them and make sure that you are connecting with the right couples.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And I know even for me, like I've kind of piecemealed things together because I started with, hitched a little bit before you. And so it was a little bit tricky for us to integrate. And I just want to affirm the fact that as much as possible for you as listeners to have one person do as many things as possible is going to keep that cohesion. I'm a really, really big believer in that. I mean, we're making it work for us, but I do think if you had to choose between doing what I'm doing and having it all like kind of in house, I'm going to recommend that just because there is just having one person touching it all, making sure there is that cohesion is making sure that people are getting the correct message and not confusing messages, right? Like confusion is going to kill sales. Like it will kill sales.
For
So
sure.
I think, again, we've made it work for us, but I know you guys are able to do ads and, not like social media ads and doing all that kind of and integrating it together is really, it's a brilliant way to do it for sure. So you just don't want to have, it's that whole saying like your left hand doesn't know the right hand is doing. And sometimes like that could happen a little bit. So anyway, one last question for you. And I know, and I'm so proud, like I've watched you grow over the years and it's been really, really cool to kind of see when we first started working together. It was just a solo journey for you and now having this great incredible team and we have reaped the rewards of that for sure. And I know you've told me that you've now managed over 5 million in Google ads, and so I want to commend you for that. That's a huge accomplishment. You've optimized websites for wedding venues across the country. So seeing all that you have seen, and again, not just my venue, but what are some of the most critical Google ad mistakes that you've seen wedding venues make? Because I know a lot of venue owners, we pride ourselves in being like savvy in all of these things, right? And so a lot of us are trying to do it ourselves. But what kind of mistakes are you seeing us, when I say us, venue owners, making? And give us some strategies that you have found that really work well.
My goodness. Google ad Google Ads have changed so much just in the past 4 years. I think one thing I want to tell that will benefit everyone listening to this is that when you sign up for a Google Ads account, they will assign you every quarter what's called like a campaign manager. And I want to emphasize that these people don't work for Google. They are a third-party company, and their whole goal is, in short, to get you to spend more and do a wider net. Okay. They want you to advertise for keywords that aren't relevant, and they want you to spend more money, and they want you to spend more money in more places. That's the first thing. And so I know people are thinking, well, yeah, that's your competitor. No, they're not. These are people that are like, way overseas in a different time zone and don't know what they're talking about. Like they don't know how Google ads resonate with wedding venues. They don't know how to resonate with wedding couples. Their bottom line is just to get you to spend more dollars on Google, which makes sense, right? And that's why Google hires them and they get a little incentive every time they get you to like change your campaign or do like, cast a wider net with your keyword. That's number one. Number two is I see a lot of people, do kind of like a slow cooker approach, if you will. They kind of set it and forget it. Um, Wedding venue ads, they need refinement based on seasonality, based on booking patterns, what types of events are trending, what search terms are trending. Are people searching for wedding packages? Let's capitalize on that, right? That is totally relevant to, Tirzah and Alexander Homestead. Another thing I've seen is like I would just like fringe at this like 2 years ago, but you can't really use exact match keywords anymore. Exact match means like, if I'm doing all inclusive wedding venues in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's a very long term keyword, right? And you do that as an exact match, it only shows up searches like for that exact word. Well, exact match isn't really exact match anymore. It's kind of more like it's still like a broad net. And so, I still use phrase match and I still use broad match, but I spend so much time, cleaning up what I call negative keywords. You might put, all, top wedding venues in Charlotte, and then it might pull up for, someone might search for, budget wedding venue or wedding venue under 1,000 or free wedding venue. And so I have this like huge list of like words that I go in like almost every single day and I filter it out. And you only end up spending like, not like maybe like a penny on some of those searches, but then I add those negative keywords in there so that you're no longer, pulling up for those searches. So it's kind of more like you used to just set the phrase match or the exact match keyword and like that's that. But it's not like people are all searching for the exact same keyword, and that's where phrase and broad match come in. But Google, of course, if you put like destination wedding venue in North Carolina, you might pull up if someone's not looking at it closely. You might have people go into your website looking for destination wedding packages in Mexico or the Caribbean, which is terrible, right? But like Google, like it's getting harder, but you really have to like baby. I'm in my accounts every single day. Every single day. I might not make a change every single day, but I'm looking at what's going on, every single day. So the negative keywords really help you. And you have to make sure that you apply those negative keywords like to your entire ad account. Because if you create a new campaign, those keywords can start popping up again because hate to break it to you, people are searching for cheap and affordable and free and under 1,000 and under 5,000. And none of my clients really fit that bill. So,
Well, and I think a lot of venue owners are doing that set it and forget it. Like when I work with a lot of my consulting clients, I'm asking them about what they're doing with their SEO, and they're like, yeah, I did it. Like it was a to-do, like check the box. Yeah, I did that. I'm like, no, wait, that's like doing that. Like who's doing it? Because like you said, this isn't something that you could set and forget. Why even like, what is it doing for you if you're setting it and forgetting it? And that's something that I learned 4 years ago, and we had to have that conversation. Yeah. Oh yeah, I have a Google ad. I don't even know how to log in or look at it. But I think a lot of us, I hope that if you're hearing me say that, and that is you, that you don't feel bad, because we are out there busting our tails, scrubbing toilets, dealing with, the everyday, woes of running a venue. I think that's why it's so very important to have someone that's reading these manifestos about Google, that it's like Chinese to me, right? That you have someone that actually understands how to actively, daily, right, do this stuff for you. So anyway, anything else that you want to add to those mistakes?
Okay, I'll try to be as quick as I can. Not properly tracking conversions because, clicks don't pay the bills, and then not creating, landing pages or, testing how they go through different pages of the website, because you might see how they do like on a homepage versus like a landing page, and test the efficacy of like maybe you do a keyword, maybe they're searching for all inclusive, or they were searching for a certain style of wedding venue in Charlotte. So you create like the landing page tailored to that campaign and to like that ad group, whether they're searching for a location or a style, and then you speak to that and then get them into the funnel. So I see a lot of people wasting budget on irrelevant searches. Like I see people doing, I touched earlier about like the broad keywords, but if you're a downtown wedding venue, please stop paying for keywords like garden and outdoor and barn. Like you are not those things. Focus on getting people that are having a high search intent. Like you can cast a wider net for people that are doing like venue search in city, or you can, do a higher search intent, like top venue, best venue, luxury, and just kind of keep it there, and you'll end up spending less, and you'll end up getting like a higher clientele, a better wedding couple, basically, that's coming through to the website, and we're seeing a lot of none of my clients, except for one, pay for the knot and wedding wire. And so a lot of people are really going all in on the SEO and ad because, you see the results when you do it right. When you combine that really smart ad strategy with your SEO, with your website, with everything else, you're not really just getting leads, you're getting the right qualified leads. And that's what matters most in this industry.
Yeah. No. Oh my gosh. So good. So good, Elizabeth. Like we could go on and on. I told her we'd go for about 30 minutes today. We're like, all right, we're going. But I know that this is such incredible education for people. And honestly, like it always makes me giggle. I mean, there's amazing conferences out there and stuff like that you will pay, thousands of dollars to go to, but you just got an amazing, amazing seminar here for free on the Venue Success podcast without having to go anywhere. So anyway, that is what the season really is all about, is that I really feel so incredibly passionate about bringing these resources to you, because it's not just, it'd be so easy if it were just building a venue and people would just come build it and they will come, if it were just that easy. But it really is complex. It really is. And I see every single day in my line of work with consulting, I see people selling their venues, and it's just because they haven't been smart about their marketing strategy. It's not that they have a bad venue. It's not that they weren't capable to do it, but I think they have a scarcity mindset when it comes to paying someone to do this kind of stuff. And I just want to say, like, shameless plug, not just for you, of course, for you, but in terms of investing into your marketing strategy, it is so incredibly important. And I think a lot of us are afraid to let go of that almighty money that we've made, but you have to spend money to make money, and spend it in smart places. Don't flush it down the toilet with these big marketing companies like the Knot and Wedding Wire that are like, they'll go to Alexander Homestead and they'll be like, oh, you like the Alexander Homestead? Here's 5 other venues that you'll like too. And they're my competitors, right? So come on, people, like, don't be dummies. Like, why would you do that? Like, that was my number one question that I asked Elizabeth is, are you going to work for other venues near me? Because that's what I was experiencing with these big label marketing companies, is that I was spending thousands, like I'm telling you, over $2,000 a month marketing in these places with a bunch of other people that were kind of in the same pool. And I think that's what's so cool about what Elizabeth does, is she's like, no, I'm going to make your venue the best. And she has. And I'm so incredibly grateful for that, because then it kind of, how does that articulate out? It means that I have this incredible staff of 7 full-time employees, that we've had over 110 all-inclusive weddings this year. We are a multiple 7-figure venue. I'm so proud of that. We have the most 5-star reviews we've ever gotten this year. I think we've gotten over 100, which is like more reviews than most venues have in total, right? Like, and all of it, again, like what Elizabeth was saying, it all comes together. It's like vegetable soup. It's all these little pieces and they all work together so beautifully. And I don't know. I'm just so grateful for you, Elizabeth. I'm grateful for what is meant for our business. And yeah, the sky's the limit, honestly. And so there's so much more I could say, but we've been on here for a little bit. But so if anyone is listening and they're interested in your services, if you are in Charlotte, North Carolina, you just go away. Don't even fill out that contact form. But if you are interested in learning more, tell them how to get in touch with you, Elizabeth.
So you can reach out to us through our website. We do have a wait list right now, and we will let you know if we are working with another client in your area, and we will refer you, to other great service providers, because there are other people in the industry that do ads and SEO, and they're amazing. And so we'll try to do our best to help you, because we want to see you succeed. Just, you can't, not with Snowmad, sorry. You're in the same city as one of my, existing clients. So you can reach out to us with our website, and we'll start, look at taking clients again in 2025.
Awesome. So I will definitely put your website in our show notes below. So if you're interested in working with her, again, thank you so much. Today was so incredibly valuable. And okay, listeners, I know I have a lot of faithful people that listen to the Venue Success podcast. If you have not subscribed to the channel, come on, subscribe to the channel. And if you're enjoying the show and you're finding value in it, please, we've talked about this today, give us your 5-star rating. It means a lot to us. And when you do that, it helps many other venue owners be able to see what we're doing and help their venues as well. One last thing I will say about Elizabeth that I think is so unique is that there are a lot of marketing agencies out there, but they work, and in the wedding industry, but they will work with any type of wedding pro, wedding planner, DJ, photographer, whatever it is. Elizabeth has made a very distinct decision to work with venues. And I think that's another thing that really sets you apart and allows you, because it is different. The venues are different, and might I say probably the most complicated of all to market. So just another plug for why I really believe that Snowmad Digital is doing an incredible job in the venue space. So any last closing words for us today, Elizabeth?
Yes, I just want to say that my clients that have hired Tirzah are doing really freaking good and are totally booked out for next year. So I just wanted to put that out there. So, if you're thinking about becoming all inclusive or you're struggling with certain things and you haven't hired Tirzah yet, you're losing money. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I too have a wait list. Elizabeth and I work like really well. Like we kind of shoot clients back and forth to each other because what she and I do is so very different, but they need that. And I've had a lot of fun working with some of your clients too. And it's so fun like hearing that a venue is completely sold out. Like, man, that makes me so proud for both of us. Like
Me
it's,
too,
yeah,
especially a
all the
new
feels.
venue, brand new venue.
Yeah, all the feels. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening to today's show. I hope that you found great value from it. But until next time, I wish you all much success in all of you do.